Fab. So just start nice and gentle, arms outstretched, and just sort of slowly roll your knees from side to side. Don't worry about getting your knees all the way over to the floor if your lower back's tight. But as we go through this minute of doing these, just try and move your knees over a bit more each time. Just try and increase the range of movement. Oh, there's a lot of crunching going on in there. A lovely off-road run yesterday, but oh my God, the mud. The mud. I'm just so bored of the mud. Well done. Keep going. About another 20 seconds of these. Good. Eloise, is it making it more challenging having a ball being thrown at your head while you're doing this? She's got good hand-eye coordination skills though, excellent. Okay, so we're going to carry on doing knee rolls from side to side, but when you roll your legs over to one side, you're just going to bring your top leg across, use your hand to just pull your knee over, and then immediately let go and roll again. So you're only pulling your knee across and over just for a second, and then the other way. So you're not holding a stretch. It's just adding a little bit more to this. So you should feel it maybe slightly higher up in your back and maybe in the side of your bum as well. But we'll do this for a minute as well. If you're not entirely sure what you're doing, just watch me. And as you roll to the side, you'll feel your other shoulder come off the floor. So if you can, push that down as well. That will help with the stretch in your back. Keep going. Another 10 seconds. And then you're going to roll over onto your front and do cat to cow. 3, 2, 1. Roll over. So onto all fours. Shoulders over hands, knees under hips, and then arch and dip your back. And if your back's a little bit stiff, just work on increasing the range of movement as we go. We'll do this one for a minute as well. Give you plenty of time in the mobility. Well done. Good. And then start to think about pulling your tummy up towards your spine when you're tucking your bum under and arching your upper back. Just pull your tummy up. And if you've got enough control, you can pull your pelvic floor up a little bit as well. Five more seconds. Good, and then we're going to go into some thoracic rotations. It's hard to say, it's a bit early for that. So 1 foot forward, other hand down, and then just go for that big reach and feed your arm through. And again, just work on slowly increasing your range of movement as we go. I'll just show you the other side as well. So feeding your arm through, reaching round. So I've got my left foot forward and my right hand down. If it's uncomfortable resting your knee on the floor doing this, you can put a cushion under your knee if you want to. Okay, do 2 more. And then change sides. Again, nice big reach, feeding your arm through. Well done, good. Morning, Jane. Just do 2 more. And then slowly come up to stand and leg swings. And I think I can get a layer off. I'm wearing my NASA jumper in honour of the Mars landing. Right, forward back leg swings. Keep your torso upright. Try not to let your upper body move. Just keep the movement through your hip and your bum. Well done. Try and keep your hip as loose as possible as well when you're kicking forward and back. Hi, Lynn. Good. And then change sides. And I've got a big bar holding my squat rack to the floor here. I'm trying not to kick it. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. It's the same colour as the floor. So I'm leaning a little bit in towards my squat rack. If you can avoid leaning too much, that's good, but it depends on what you've got to hold on to. Just do a couple more. And then go for some side-to-side swings. So again, try and limit the movement through your upper body and keep the movement through your hip as much as possible. So depending on how mobile your legs are, try and get your legs swinging out to the side and across your body as much as you can. Good, and then change sides. Well done. Good, do a couple more. And then we're just going to do some arm circles. Keep your arms nice and straight, but try not to hunch your shoulders. So you're trying to keep your shoulders as low as possible. Big arm circles. Start a little bit slowly and then just work on speeding that up a little bit. Good. And then go the other way. Again, try not to let your shoulders come up too much. Keep them loose. Good. We are going to do a few upper body exercises today, as well as the core stability stuff. Okay, just do 2 more. And then on your back. So watch me first of all, and then you can do it. So you're going to lie on your back in a bridge position. So feet fairly close to your heels. Head down onto the floor. And then you're going to let your little fingers rest on your thighs. Make sure you've got your lower back pushed down hard into the floor. And then bring your arms straight over your head, thumbs to the ground, and then forward again. So you're moving your arms in a smooth movement, little fingers touching your thighs, thumbs touching the floor. Now if you've got any sort of impingement in your shoulder joint, you might find it difficult to keep your arms moving straight back, but try it. I'd rather you just limited your range of movement in terms of if you get to a point where you have to start moving your arms out to the side, stop there. So if your thumbs don't get all the way to the floor, then just stop at the point where it starts to feel uncomfortable. You shouldn't feel any pain doing this. And now, as well as having your lower back pushed down to the floor, I want you to actively push your shoulders into the floor. So you've got the backs of your shoulders in contact with the floor all the time. You might find that changes your range of movement slightly. That's okay. So depending on where you have any tightness or weakness in your upper back and your chest, you may feel this working in different places. I can feel it kind of top of my rib cage. Just do a few more. So it's thumbs to thighs, sorry, fingers to thighs, thumbs to floor. Do a couple more. Good. And then bridge with a roll down. So you can bring your arms down to the floor now. You can have them out to the side or down by your sides a bit more. It's up to you where you put them. Push your hips up nice and high and roll your back down to the floor. The high hips, that's the quicker phase of the movement. And then rolling your back down to the floor, nice and slowly. Really taking your time to roll your back down, one vertebra at a time. Well done. Do 10 more seconds. Then I want you to hug your knees into your chest for a few seconds and just kind of waggle yourself around on the floor. So it's hugging your knees tightly into your chest and just moving your back around. This should feel really nice. Well done. And then keep your feet off the floor, head up in your hands. And you want to ideally do this exercise with your knees directly above your hips. But if that's going to be too difficult to keep your back pushed down to the floor, your start position can be with your knees closer into your chest, feet flexed, and you're dropping alternate bent leg towards the floor. To begin with, I don't want this to feel like it's really challenging your core very much at all. It should feel easy. So if it feels like you've got a lot of tugging in the lower bit of your tummy muscles, just bring your knees into your chest a little bit more for the start position. We're going to do this for about 1.5 minutes and just slowly work on letting your knees drop out a little bit. So you want this to increase in intensity over the 1.5 minutes. So the thing you're looking out for is your back coming off the floor. If you can't maintain your lower back, keep that contact to the floor, then you need to bring your knees back in towards your chest a little bit more. So start to think about letting your legs drop out a little bit. As it becomes harder, you're going to have to actively work to push your back down. And keep breathing normally. That's a difficult bit. 40 more seconds. So remember, if your back is taking all this, not your tummy, just bring your knees back in towards your chest a bit. Keep going. 20 seconds. Keep thinking about what your back is doing. If you have to keep pushing it down every time you bring your legs up, that's fine. Last 10 seconds. And your tummy muscles should feel like they're waking up and activating nicely now. 3, 2, 1. Good. That'll do. Right. First exercise, but I'll go through all 4 just to give you a little rest before we start. We've got 4 exercises for the first workout. Kneeling, band or weighted press. Alternate arm leg extensions or tucks, depending on how hard you find them. Then a kneeling single arm press. And then dead bugs. So the first round I'll demonstrate before we start, and then after that we can just work through them as 2 complete sets. So the first one is kneeling on both knees. If you have a band, use a band. So that's kneeling, not kneeling very well this morning. So kneeling on the band, bringing your arms through and pressing up above your shoulders. If you have weights, it's exactly the same movement, you're just holding a weight in each hand, and I want you to hold the weights out like that if you're using weights. So if you're using a band, it's going to be a little bit more challenging than having light weights, but either are absolutely fine. Off we go. So we're going to do this for a full minute. Make sure that you've got your bum tucked under and your core braced. And if kneeling down on the floor is uncomfortable, put a cushion under your knees or double your mat up. So if you're using weights, turn them out that way. You don't want them pointing to the room. You want your elbows nice and wide. And really think about what your upper back is doing. So I'm really focusing on my upper back working as I'm pressing up and down. I'm really keeping my core braced. Keep going. Well done, 20 seconds. That's good. So if you've got the option of band or weight and you want to make it more challenging for the next set, then you'll probably find the band harder. Keep going. 3, 2, 1. Good, rest. Next one. Alternate arm and leg extensions or tucks. So I'll show you the extensions first of all, that's the easier one. So that's hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Extend, alternate arm and leg. Thumb pointing up to the ceiling. And heel only finishing at about bum height. And if you want to make it harder, go for the tuck, which is extend, tuck, extend, and then swap. So that one's harder because you've got your hand and leg off the floor for a little bit longer. So choose which one you're going to do. It's 1 minute. Off you go if you haven't started. Well done. So be really careful about where your foot's going. You don't want to bring your heel any higher than your bum. That'll make your lower back arch and your core won't be able to work as hard. So it's heel to bum height and then thumb pointing up to the ceiling. So I want you to protect your shoulder joints as much as possible. And if your thumb comes up to the ceiling, that's a much nicer movement for your shoulder joint. Well done, keep going. "20 more seconds. If you think you're wobbling a lot, so if you feel like your hips are really moving from side to side, just work on pulling your tummy up to your spine. That will help balance you. 3, 2, 1, and done. So for the next one, you do need a weight for this. That could be a tin of beans or a water bottle. It doesn't need to be heavy. You're going to kneel up. So I've got one leg forward, other leg back. I'm kneeling on my right knee, my left leg's forward, and I'm going to hold the weight in my right hand, and my left arm is going to point forward like that. So this time, you want to point your elbow into the room, if that makes sense. So it's not coming out to the side, it's pointing forward, and you're pressing like that. Off you go. So this is not about the shoulder press. You should hopefully feel that this pressing movement is kind of throwing you off balance a little bit and you're wobbling a little bit from side to side. So it's an anti-rotation exercise. This forward leg and forward arm, that's the static part. Well done. And you have to brace yourself against the pressing movement. One more. Good, and then change sides. So before you start to move, think about tucking your bum under. Off you go. Well done. Good. So the arm that's not moving, make sure you keep it pointing forwards. That raised arm will just stop your shoulder from rotating too much. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. Good. And then onto your back, dead bugs. Two options for this one, either arms only or the full dead bug. If you feel that your back is properly controlled and onto the floor, do the full movement. So it's knees over shoulders, feet at knee height, I think that's better, and off you go. Really slow and steady. You can use your breathing to help you as well. Well done. Keep going. 20 seconds. If a minute's too much and your core really fatigues, then you can either just do arms only, or you can even hold it as a static dead bug for the last few seconds. 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees into your chest for a few seconds. And then we're going around again. So it's back onto the press, the kneeling press. Okay. So use the band if you have it, otherwise you can have weights. Nick, I need to get you one of these red bands. I'll send Ron a link to them. All right. So before you start to press, bum tucked under, core braced, off you go. Good. So don't let your core go at any point doing this. Keep it pulled in towards your spine. You should feel your tummy working harder to stabilise you than your bum. If you can feel your bottom working, then just pull your tummy in towards your spine a bit more. Oh man, my upper body is so weak. I need to get back swimming again. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Perfect, well done. Alternate arm and leg extensions. If you did the leg extensions last time, try the tuck. Try and progress it as we go through. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Whichever one you're doing, keep it slow. Keep going. Just think about what your pelvis is doing as you've got your arm and leg extended. If it feels like you're leaning onto the leg that you're supporting yourself on, try and prevent that a little bit if you can. So if you imagine you're balancing a cup of coffee on the small of your back, you can't let any of it spill. I'm only going for the coffee analogy because it's 10 o'clock on a Monday morning. If this was any other class, it would be a glass of Prosecco. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. Good. And then a kneeling single arm press again. So if you have anything heavier at your disposal, then you can try and progress to a slightly heavier weight if you have it. If not, don't worry. So left leg forward, right leg back, pressing with the right arm. Off you go. And keeping your elbow pointing forward. Try not to let it come out to the side. Well done. And again, slow and steady. So it's kind of 1.5 up, 1.5 down. 2, 1, change sides. Off you go. So you might feel it more in your bum doing this exercise than the other kneeling press. And it should be the bum cheek of your back leg that you can feel working. Keep going. 3, 2, 1, and then dead bugs. So no change to this unless you started off with arms only and you want to try and go to a full dead bug. But we're not going to add any weight or anything to this one. All right, off you go. Just slow, steady, really extend that arm and leg. And it's the same principle as the alternate arm and leg extensions with your thumb up to the ceiling. Doing this, it's thumb down to the floor. Well done. Keep going. If you're getting tired and your back's coming off the floor, just work on pushing it back down before you extend your arm and leg again. 5 seconds. And 3, 2, 1, rest. So again, stay on your back, hug your knees into your chest, and you can rest in that position. So it feels nice, just waggle around again as well. And we've got one more round of that to go. Okay. Right, banded press again. Or weights, depending on what you're using. Right, get ready. 3, 2, 1, off you go. So if you're using a band, it's actually slightly easier to do a slower return phase of this exercise because you're kind of working against the band, letting your arms get pulled down quickly. But whatever you're using, try and think about a quicker push up and a slower return back to your shoulders. Keep going. "15 seconds. If you start to feel your lower back bending as you're getting tired, keep it tucked under. Almost there. Last few seconds. 3, 2, 1. Oh, done. So if you haven't done the tucks yet, try and do the tucks for this last set. Get ready. Off you go. This for this time. Well done. So think about that cup of coffee on your lower back. If you've got your lower back dipped or it's moving a lot from side to side, that coffee will spill. So think about keeping your bum tucked under a little bit. Try and keep your hips stable as you're moving. Good, well done. 15 seconds. 3, 2, 1, good. Kneeling single arm press. Left foot forward, left arm forward and press. Off you go. So really think about keeping your bum tucked under and your core pulled in. Tummy pulled in, that works better. Well done. Lovely, good. Last few seconds. And change sides. Yeah. Off you go. Good. Well done, keep going. About 10 more seconds. And we've just got the dead bugs to finish off with. And again, no changes for that. 3, 2, 1, done. Onto your back. Dead bugs. I'm going to face the other way this time, a bit of variety. So, like last time, thumb back to the floor. There we go. Lower back in contact with the ground. Off you go. So if you have been doing arms only, try and do the full movement. If that's a bit challenging for a full minute, then as soon as you can't keep your back down, or if your core's got really tired, then just go to arms only or static. Keep going. Well done. Keep going. 20 more seconds. A bit more challenging now. 10 seconds. And 3, 2, 1. Good. Those are done. Right. So we've got another workout to do. What time is it? Perfect. So this is a 10 minutes. I'm going to check. I'm just going to get rid of an exercise. I wasn't sure about it when I planned this last night and I decided I don't want to do it. So that's going. A little bit of winging it at the last minute. There we go. That looks better now. I should have done that in the first place. All right, 4 exercises, 3 rounds. This is an on the minute, every minute workout. So you do a certain number of reps and however long you've got left in that minute, that's your rest. So the first one is a straight arm plank, leg to the side. And you've got 2 options for this. So the straight arm plank leg to side movement is pretty challenging. So if that's going to be too difficult for you for any reason, use a raised surface. So work surface, back of chair, back of sofa, and do a shoulder tap instead. So you are working most of the same muscles doing that one, but it's just quite a lot more easy. So that's straight arm plank, either leg out to the side, foot taps to the side, or on a raised surface, shoulder taps. And it's 20 of those. Then you're going to do 10 press-ups. Again, if you want to make it easier, raised surface. So against a wall, back of a sofa, a chair, something to make it a bit easier. So I'll be doing them on the floor, but on my knees, hands underneath my shoulders, chest all the way to the floor, and then push the floor away from you as you come up. I'll coach you as we do it. 10 of those. Then 20 crunches. So you're on your back, and your legs are going to be held in a split position. So one thigh straight up, the other one drop down, and you're crunching upwards. And it's a tiny movement. You're just moving the back of your shoulder blades off the floor. And then you change after 10. And the last one you need to wait for. And you're going to do a split stance torso rotation. So that's standing in a slight split stance like that. Both legs a little bit bent and rotating from side to side. So it's that anti-rotation movement. There's a bit of balance and coordination as well. So it's much harder to do that than it is with both legs on the floor. So starting off with straight arm plank, either leg to side or shoulder taps if you're using a raised surface. So you're going to have to count some reps doing these, which just means you're working at your own pace. So it's 20 of these, and as soon as you're done, you rest for the remainder of the minute, and then we go on to the press-ups. Are you ready? So choose which one you're going to do, either raised surface shoulder taps or on the floor leg to side. 3, 2, 1, off you go. So however you're doing it, try and keep your hips low. When you've done 20, just rest. So when you're doing the leg to side movement, it is really hard to keep your hips low. You have to fight really hard. Just got a lovely message up. Hopefully you can't see that. Good. Right. 15 seconds. The next one is press-ups. 10 press-ups. Chest all the way to the floor. And when you push away from the floor, push the floor away from you, bringing your chest up before your chin. So you're not letting your back arch as you come off the floor. 3, 2, 1, off you go. Keep your core working doing those press-ups as well. So as you push up away from the floor, make sure your core is braced. And it's just 10. You get a decent amount of rest after these. So the one after this is the crunches. I'll show you again. You've just got loads of rest though. 25 seconds rest left. So these crunches, head up in your hands. One leg drop down further than the other. And when you crunch up, make sure that you're crunching your chin, being brought up to the ceiling. Don't let your chin come anywhere near your chest. All right, 5 seconds. So it's 10 with each leg, if that makes sense. 2, 1, go. If it makes your neck ache, then you can just work a bit harder, supporting your head with your hands. So I'm holding my head in my fingers like a little cage. And then rest when you've done 20 in total. So you should feel that one a little bit higher up. So not kind of the low down feeling that you get from the dead bug. It should be a little bit higher towards your rib cage. And then when you've done that, stand up, split stance torso rotations. I demonstrated it wrong the first time. So left leg forward, right leg back, bending both legs slightly. And you're going to do 10 rotating in the direction of the front leg. And then you change legs and you rotate the other way. You don't go from side to side. Off we go. So I've got my left leg forward and I'm rotating just to the left. And then back to the centre. So I can feel a bum cheek in my right leg working to stabilise me. Good. So when you've done 10 in each direction, you're going to go back onto the straight arm plank. So you've got 15 seconds rest. Straight arm plank again, same as last time, either a raised surface or on the floor, legs to side. So get ready. 3, 2, 1, off you go. And when you're doing these straight arm planks, if you're on the floor, really work on keeping your hips low. It's not easy. You've done 20, you can rest. Looking good though, well done. Good. Right, so after this you've got the press ups again. How do you have time? Perfect. Right, 15 seconds, press ups, 10 press ups. Get ready. Think all the time about pushing the floor away or whatever you're pushing up against, pushing it away from your body, keeping your core working. 3, 2, 1, off you go. And then when you're done, lots of rest hopefully. You should get at least 30 seconds rest doing those. When you finish your press ups, you can roll straight onto your back if you want to. You've got 20 seconds until you do the crunches. So another thing you can do, if the back of your neck was feeling like it was pulling too much doing these crunches, push your tongue hard into the roof of your mouth and it will stop your neck from hurting. All right, 3, 2, 1, off you go. It's 10 on each leg. Doesn't quite make sense that, but hopefully you know what I mean. And when you're done, you can rest and stand up. So after the crunches, you've got the torso rotations. If you've got something a bit heavier you can hold, that will make this more challenging again. So we'll start with left leg forward, both legs slightly bent, so I'm just resting on the toes of my back leg. Torso high, core braced. 3, 2, 1, off you go. So it's rotating to the left. Because you're pivoting on that back leg, which is on your toes, you should feel your glutes working on the back leg. And it's 10 on each side. I'm also looking at my weight as I go as well. Keep your spine neutral, so let your eye line follow the weight. Much more wobbly on this side. Ooh, nearly. All right, 10 seconds rest, then we're going round again. We've got one more set of these to go. So it's back onto the straight arm plank. If you have been using the raised surface, then maybe try and do the last set on the floor. All right, 3, 2, 1. Last set. So we've got 4 exercises to go. So on these leg taps to the side, try and keep your tap as light as possible. Keep your shoulders over your hands all the time as well. Oh. And then rest when you're done. Looking good though, well done. Probably harder with a baby underneath you, isn't it? All right, press ups. 15 seconds, last 10 press ups. So when you get your chest down to the floor, engage your core, so pull your tummy up. Try and use your tummy and your upper back as much as you can. 3, 2, 1, off you go. These are getting hard now. Well done. Good. 30 seconds rest. And then it's crunches again. So again, if your neck hurts a little bit, push the roof of your tongue into the roof of your mouth. It really works. It makes the muscles at the front of your neck activate, so the muscles at the back of your neck relax. That's why it works. Okay, get ready. 10 seconds. 10 on each leg. 3, 2, 1, off you go. And you can make it more challenging by increasing the distance between your legs as well. Whew. 30 seconds rest still to go, and then we've just got the split stance torso rotations to go. Loads of rest. 20 seconds, and then we're stretching. Last exercise of the day. So I'm going to start with my right leg forward this time, because that's definitely more challenging on that side. All right, 3, 2, 1, off you go. The terrible thing is this is a 1 kilogram weight, and it's so hard to keep myself balanced doing this. Well done. We've done 10 on one side, change sides. Well done. Looking good though. Good. When you're done, you can get straight down onto the floor into child pose, and we're stretching. Well done today. There's some challenging exercises in there today. So child pose, feet together, knees apart, get straight down. So forehead resting on the mat. Try and get your bum in contact with your heels, and just pull your hands forward a little bit to increase the stretch across your upper back. Nice deep breaths. And then take your arms over to one side and then drop your head down again. I hope you can't hear my stomach rumbling. I haven't had breakfast yet. And then go to the other side. Good, and then come up onto your knees, 1 foot forward. Take it further out if you want a bigger stretch across your hips. Tuck your tail under and then push forward like that. Keep your torso upright to begin with. And I'm going to get you to reach across. So you can stretch across now and really reach and push into this stretch. Keep holding it. And then change sides. So leg forward, bum tucked under, push forward. Just hold that stretch to the torso upright for a few seconds. And then reach across. Well done. And release and stand up slowly. We're going to finish off with a standing quad stretch. So hold on to something. If you need to, just bring your heel into your bum. Don't let your back arch. I've got things appearing on my screen. I guess I'm going to end the meeting. That's it. So making sure that you're not letting your back arch behind you. Keep your bum tucked under, chest high. And then change sides. Well done. And done. Well done. Good work this morning. There were a couple of challenging ones in there.